Everybody's recording. It's crazy, how much stuff I seem to have accumulated over the years.
Whatever makes it happen, whatever.
Just trying to get the music out there, right? However we can. So let's see, you did this with Patrick, right, at Real Love?
Yep.
I'll ask you all the usual questions, Feel free to ad-lib and add as much detail as your heart desires.
Okay. I'm a talker.
You know the drill. I don't need to bore you to death.
Already that I'm a talker. So.
Well, and that'll work brilliantly. So we'll go in about 10.
Okay.
Pose, brand new music from Mr. Harold Hensley, who is here in the studio as we kick off a brand new Your Tuesday Afternoon Alternative. We come to you every Tuesday, 3 to 6 p.m. on WUDR, Dayton, Ohio, student-run radio from the University of Dayton. Harold Hensley is here. We're going to talk about his brand new record, which I'm holding in my hand. You can't get it quite yet, but really soon. I believe the show is on the 28th, where you can get a copy of this at the Yellow Cab Tavern. It's called Midnight Savings Time. Mr. Harold Hensley, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me, Art.
Really appreciate you coming in.
I love the show. We were talking earlier about how I like to watch the feed and listen at the same time. Not while driving, but...
Yeah, it's important to make sure you keep an eye on the road.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, I'm a big fan of the show, though.
So tell us about the new record.
I worked on it most of the better part of 2017 with Patrick at Real Love recording studio here in Dayton, and it was a collection of songs that I had written at this job that I had where I worked midnight shift, like 12 hours all night long, and yeah, it was rough, but I got a lot of good songs out of it, I think. So that's why it's called Midnight Savings Time. A lot of these songs were written like after the witching hour, or during, should I say. But yeah, so it's just a collection of songs. It kind of, feels like a demo of like different types of songs when you listen to it as a whole, I guess. But Patrick was able to keep the theme alive throughout, I think. So I'm really excited to share it with people and really proud of it.
So you recorded with Patrick Himes at Real Love Studio.
Yes.
What was that like?
It's kind of like it was kind of like hanging out with your really good buddy that you only get to see every once in a while. Because he's so busy and everybody's so busy in the music scene here. But so when we did have studio time booked, it was like like when it's like, oh, I have a dinner date with my friend, or I'm going to do something. So it wasn't it's work, but it didn't feel like work at all. You know what I mean? It was just like hanging out and trying different things and like talking about music and recording music, and he's just a really cool guy to hang out with. So it was a really great experience because I'd never done a solo record like this. I've always had a band with me, and they would throw their ideas, and it was kind of like, Patrick would be like, so what do you want to do? And it's like sometimes there would be some dead air, like, well, let's try it like this, or he would always have like a great idea to try different things. So it was a great experience all around, for sure.
I refer to him as the wizard.
Me too. Yeah, I think we've actually talked about that before.
It's like he's magic. It's like he has just the right idea,
and connects, like, not just has the idea, but he can execute it. That's that's a big part of the process. Like, there are millions of great ideas out there, but can you actually do it?
Yeah, so, that's a good point.
Yep.
It's one thing to have the idea, it's another thing to actually bring it to fruition.
Right.
So I'm curious how you would compare Midnight Savings Time, the new record, to your previous work, like with the Repeating Arms.
I think it's pretty different. Just for the fact that there's electric instrumentation on this, like there's drums and with the Arms it's pretty much all it's all our early drive record that we put out had drums and electric instruments and stuff, and we've kept it pretty rootsy in the past couple of years. And so I mean, a lot of the songwriting, the way that I wrote the songs was the same, I would say. with the exception of not, Max and I will get together and come up with stuff with the arms. This was just like I was coming up with melodies and guitar parts and all that stuff on my own. So I'd say those are like the biggest differences: the non-electricity, and it's like living in the olden days with the arms, and like I just wanted to try a lot of stuff with this. It's still rootsy and still has its moments, a little bit of twang to it, but overall pretty different, I would say.
Yeah, it seems like there's almost a Midwestern rock or rock and roll sensibility to some of the songs on here, which is quite different than what you've done with the arms and some of your other work.
Yeah, I think a lot of that has to do with I've always like the Arms was the first rootsy band that I'd ever been in. Like I'd never played in a band with a banjo or a mandolin or anything like that. And I guess I kind of missed the old days. Like didn't want to totally rock out like I used to, but I wanted to have a little bit of those remnants come back into play or whatever. And it's just super fun to be like to be kind of in a rock band. I know this is because I'm surrounded by all these great rock bands, and it's
we were fortunate in this city.
Oh man, and they invite me out to open sometimes, and I just feel so basic. I'm like, here I am with my guitar, and
I think you're a little hard on yourself there, Harold.
It's just how it feels sometimes.
Sure.
Like I still have fun and still get a great response, most of the time and stuff. But it's like, then they come out and really start, raising the roof. So. I'm going to get to do that on the 28th because I will have a band with me.
Will you?
Yes. Everybody that played on the record has ensured me that they will be there. So, we're going to try to do it from beginning to end, just like on the record there. So pretty excited about that.
And that's September 28th at the Yellow Cab Tavern.
Yep.
And I noticed there was a lot of people listed.
Absolutely.
On there. So I take it that people should make plans now. Are tickets available through?
I didn't do a pre-sale just because I'm not very techy, and which everyone in town knows that. But didn't do a pre-sale. It's just it's $10 at the door, and you want to get there early because the music starts promptly at 8 o'clock, and I've handpicked some of my favorite songwriters in town to. It's a songwriters night with the exception of us playing this record.
Right.
We're doing 2 songwriter rounds, so I'm just so excited. When I think about it, it seems like it's finally here.
Well, I'm going to have to correct you on that, though, because you are a songwriter.
Oh, yeah, that's right, yeah.
As far as, whether it's with the Arms, by yourself, or with another band, I'm still going to call you a songwriter.
That's right. With, I guess, yeah, you're right. I was just saying that,
Let's just be a different feel, yeah.
Yes.
I just feel the need to defend your honor here.
I appreciate that for sure.
If you're just joining us, this is your Tuesday afternoon alternative. I am so excited. I've got Harold Hensley here in the studio. He has a brand new record, Midnight Savings Time, which I can't believe no one has titled a record. It begs to be a title of a record.
I looked like so many different search engines to make sure that I wasn't like ripping somebody off. I'm like, wow,
yours was the only one that came up when I looked up. Like, how can that's a great title. How can that be?
I was just like, wow, how is this not taken already?
It is now.
Copyright.
So we are here on WUDR, Dayton, Ohio, a rock in the Gem City, music in all directions. Support your local music scene. Harold, do you think I can talk you into a song?
Absolutely, yeah. I'm going to do another tune this off my new record. This song is called Sweet Miller, and it was my dad's favorite song off the collection of songs here, so I'm going to play that for him today. Driving all night down to old Kentucky, 2 hours in, and I'm thinking you. Sky blue eyes, while strawberry lipstick. One thing in life I wish I could be do. Lazy days on that farm, thought they'd last forever. Life was a fever, couldn't be broke. Time stood still like it does when you're waiting on winter to take life away. In the dictionary, there's a picture of you next to the definition of tried and true. You're the queen of Kentucky, and I once called you mine. Now dreaming of you is all that I find. Dreaming of you is all that I find. Come lie down beside that red river, Powell County diamond lost in the rough. She took it on the chin when she heard it was leaving. 2 hours north, I was calling him bluff. 'Cause I dreamt of the day we'd be planning our wedding. Little white dress in my dead man's coat. Give all I have, though it's next to nothing. Taste that sweet girl on my lips again. In the dictionary, there's a picture of you next to the definition of tried and true. You're the queen of Kentucky, and I once called you mine. Now dreaming of you is all that I find. Dreaming of you is all that I find. Dreaming of you is all that I find. Dreaming of you is all that I find.
That is amazing.
Thank you.
That sounds like heartbreak.
Thank you.
I'm a sucker for the heartbreak.
That was I think that was the point when I was writing it. You know, it was about a really special year in my life with a girl that I'm still friends with. You know, it was just one of those things that lasted for a summer. You know, and it was a great time. True story.
I'm curious, who took the picture on the cover?
Charles Hartman.
I wondered about that.
Yes.
It's a brilliant photo.
Thank you. He wanted to try a bunch of different things, and we kind of had a concept in mind to go along with the title.
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of came up with the idea to make my face kind of look like the moon, have like moon phases,
sure.
you know. And so we hung out at his house. I think we hung out all day that day trying to get that shot, and because we used, you know, we weren't taking photographs the whole time, but we were trying to use the natural sunlight and other lighting and stuff like that. He did all the layout work for that as well, the back and everything. So yeah, can't give him enough props. He's my go-to guy when I'm like, hey, I need to send Art a CD, or I need to do this or send this here. Like,
Charles is pretty tech savvy.
Yes,
He's pretty savvy, and it's brilliant work. I've got to say, Charles, it's fantastic, and I can't agree more. It totally fits the concept of the record. Right, it fits the title, it fits the theme.
I was kind of leery about having my face on the cover, you know.
Oh, really?
But I love it. It's just like, it's a great photograph, and my sisters are like, "That's my scary brother." Because like I have this intensity, you know, about myself in that photo. So I love it.
Well, I think if it was called Midnight Savings Time, I don't think you could make silly faces, right?
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't be like an ice cream cone or something.
That'll be the comedy record that comes after this one.
Absolutely. Yes.
If you're just joining us, this is your Tuesday afternoon alternative on WUDR, a rock in the Gem City, music in all directions. Support your local music scene. We're here with Harold Hensley, who has a brand new record, Midnight Savings Time, that comes out towards the end of this month. People can get a copy at the show on the 28th.
Yes.
And then at that point, will it be available electronically as well?
Yes, on all the major streaming platforms. Yeah, and actually, if you're into it, you can go to Magnaphone Records now and pre-order a copy of. Actually has a link that'll take you to my Bandcamp, where you can pre-order vinyl or CDs coming out on vinyl too.
Oh,
so,
very nice.
You get the single pose now, and then you get a digital download and everything else too. So
Magnaphone has been doing just a brilliant job.
absolutely.
You know, props and love to Dan and all the folks at Magnaphone Records for all their hard work.
I can't say enough good things. You know, just the roster that they're building.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
seriously.
It's like all my,
It's like all our friends.
yeah, all of our friends, but you know, they're amazing bands on there, like iconic stuff here in Dayton. I mean,
yeah.
it would be like, you know, and that's the thing too. Like, I can just see them growing. You know, just there's like no limit.
Oh, you hope so. I mean,
yeah,
with the new Old Fashioned release, which was just fantastic.
absolutely.
And then several other bands. Don't worry, we're not going to bore you all with the laundry list, listener. But you might want to go check out the roster and the listings on the Magnaphone Records website.
Absolutely.
I wholeheartedly urge you to do that. Some terrific music. If you like good Midwestern rock and roll of many different stripes and genres and styles, you want to go take a look at what they have to offer.
There's like something for, you know, I hate to say that, but there's something for everyone. You know.
Oh, I know. You feel weird saying that, but it's true.
Yeah.
You know, in this case, I can honestly say with a straight face.
It's true. Yeah.
Well, let's give you a break. Is it okay if we play "Building a Boat"?
Sure.
Yeah. It's the fourth track on the record, Midnight Savings Time. Mr. Harold Hensley being so kind to be here in the studio today for your Tuesday afternoon alternative. And that's, is that Cherry Lee singing with you?
Yes. And
Oh, she's got such a brilliant voice.
she does. And Casey Abbott's dad is playing.
His
harmonica.
dad?
Yes. Dan
I know
Abbott.
Casey.
Dan Abbott. Yeah.
See, I don't know.
He plays with he played with Old News quite a bit. And
Oh,
then,
okay.
Now
Okay.
he's playing with the Howdy pretty often. So it's he can blow, man. He's great.
It's
He's gonna be at the show,
crazy
too.
the family connections you get. Like you know, I remember the first time I realized that was Tim Pritchard's dad.
Right.
Playing with you guys.
Right. I mean, I'd heard Flyway Minion and didn't really know Tim at that point.
Yeah.
So I'm like in a band with his dad before I actually like really become friends with Tim. So it was great. He's like, yeah. First time Jim came over, he's like, check these records out. This is my son. And I'm like,
That's so cool.
What?
That is so cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
I am gonna maybe push that back and see. There we go. The uninterrupted view of Harold. So that would be full Harold.
Yep, that's me.
Don't worry, people. We're not going blue. Facebook people are like, we thought this was child friendly.
Yes. Yeah.
Your levels sound good. Yeah, everything. Your levels sound good.
Really well.
Yeah. And I can use this to pick up some of the. We don't really get reverb in here though.
Yeah.
But no, it sounds good to me. And of course, everything I do gets thrown in a Dropbox, and You can get you a copy of everything. But it's really nice. The Facebook Live is a really nice way so that people who can't get the stream or listen to 99.5, 98.1 can listen.
Absolutely, yeah.
So that's really cool.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite parts of the show. Like, just to hear the banter in between stuff, you know, all the stories and the anecdotes.
Well, you're too kind. Mr. Harold Hensley and Ms. Cherry Lee.
Absolutely, yes.
Singing together, they're building a boat. So what inspires a song like that?
I mean, like I said, I wrote most of these in a job that I didn't like very, very much. And I just kind of wanted to escape, you know?
Oh, sure.
And for some reason, I always write a lot of songs about water. So I was just, the machine that I ran always sounded like it was trickling water. So you had to go to the restroom every like 20 seconds. And it made me think about water, you know. So I just, I was like, you know, I'm going to build a boat and get out of here. And it has like, you know, there's been so many songs about, you know, building boats and stuff like that. But I just wanted to make mine kind of simple and to the point and, you know, navigate through the stream of everything that was going on at the time. So, yeah, and I also want to mention that was Dan Abbott playing that harmonica.
A brilliant job.
Yeah, he gets it, man. He just goes off the deep end with it. It's great.
So I'm curious. We probably talked about this before, but who would you say your influences have been?
Oh man, you know that's
the impossible question.
It's I listen to and people say that they're like, oh, I listen to everything. I listen to so much, but here lately, I'd say the last 5 or 6 years, I've been listening to a lot of John Prine, and like I love Connor Oberst, like a lot of the stuff that he puts out, like the lyrics are just, you know, mind-boggling to think of how this, you know, because he's been doing that since he was a little kid, you know, like
what, like 12, 13, 14?
I have some like recordings. I think his first record was called Water.
Yeah.
And it's just like he's a little kid, but he's writing these. It's like you haven't even lived, you know, like you haven't had your heart broken or you know, and he's just writing these great songs. So like musically, I mean, I listen to a lot of rootsy stuff too. I really like. I've been listening to a lot of Town Mountain, and then there's these guys that are from Cincinnati called the Rubber Knife Gang. You ever heard of those guys?
I heard of them, but I don't know that I'm familiar with their work.
They are one of my favorite band. Like, you know, they could jump in any genre, I think, and write good songs. And that's what you know, it doesn't have to necessarily be a newgrass band or a punk band or whatever. Like, they just write really good songs, you know, and they're very descriptive, and I like the storytelling stuff and all that, you know. So, but it's hard to nail down just like one influence, you know, or just
I hear you.
Influences. It's kind of all over the place, you know. I hear something that I like Dave Rollins. He's another big influence. Not that I don't think that I sound like any of these people, but I can't remember the guy's name from Coldplay said one time that whole band was based off trying to sound like Radiohead. Like they wanted to sound like Radiohead. But
yeah, Chris Martin said that. Yeah.
This whole other thing came out, you know, and that quote always stuck with me. It's like, you know, it's like you try to write a song that's in the vein of John Prine, and it comes out sounding like something totally different.
Whose new record is terrific.
Yes.
That new record is great. I've got to say that you could pick a lot worse in terms of.
Right.
I want to sound like John Prine. I'm okay with that.
Yeah. I mean, with his stuff, like it's, you know, he can write a straight up funny song.
Oh yeah.
I mean, just have you in stitches, but at the same time, there's this undertone of like, you know, does this really happen? Like, is this like, you know, it's got a feeling to it that's just like, you know, true. Like even if you know,
it's authentic. It's real.
Right.
Yeah.
And then he can go from writing like a happy-go-lucky funny song to like just tearing your heart out, like in a.
Oh, exactly. I was thinking.
Fell swoop, you know, just.
It can turn dark. It's sort of like I've seen Tom Waits in concert a few times,
oh, wow.
he'll play like what for him would be a poppy song, and then he would turn it to a song that'd be about like an axe murderer or something.
Right. Yeah.
And he'd be like, how did we get here?
It's like a pop-up shower. It's like, oh, get out of the pool, kids. Get out of the pool.
But with Prime, there's just like you were saying earlier, there's that focus on songwriting.
Right.
Just writing a really great song.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and if you go back and listen to his whole catalog, like there's some stuff where he's just playing with him and a guitar.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's some stuff that's like on the rock and roll side. There's country sounding stuff that real twangy and you just never know what you're going to get, and that's kind of the songwriter that I aspire to be.
I can hear that.
I love that stuff that just keeps you guessing. It's still me. You can still, my voice is still in there, and I still use the same 3 chords. You just
doesn't. No, I don't. I'm going to stop before I finish that. But I certainly think your approach reminds me of Prime's approach. Excuse me. That I think there's that focus on whatever it is. Can I just write the best song? For whatever this is that I have in my head.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, it's the way that I approach songwriting. Like, I know some people sit down and they have like this thing in their head, like, oh, this really made me angry. I want to write a song about it. But the things that make me angry or happy or whatever, they're all the time. It's kind of bubbling around in my head. So when I drive a lot, I travel around a lot and stuff. And so when I do that, I'm like always humming, and like I'll be listening to something and something totally different will be going on in my head. So I turn that down. I turn whatever I'm listening to down, and I have my phone is full of ridiculous videos of me like trying to work a song out, and so you just, with me, I just never know what I'm going to get. Like,
yeah.
It could be a love song, it could be a happy song, it could be a murder ballad, it could be whatever, and I kind of like that. I don't want to just write a bunch of love songs or a bunch of sad songs, although they do turn out sad quite a bit. But
I think that you, whether you intend to do that or not, there's that kind of real, authentic, accurate. For me, this is what I'm feeling, or this is what this song is about. It doesn't feel forced to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Thank you so much for saying that. That's a great.
It's my interpretation, which that and a couple bucks will get you a cup of coffee, but. so
just 20 cents a day.
Yeah, that's right. Could we get another song from you?
Absolutely. I'm gonna play a brand new one. This one isn't out yet. It's gonna be on my next record that I'm recording demos for at the moment. It's called One Too Many Times, and it's about that relationship that a lot of us have been in, where it's kind of toxic, but you love the person, so you keep giving like more and more second chances, and you end up with like 30 second chances or whatever. So it's kind of like that endless cycle. It's called One Too Many Times. One Too Many Times. Let's see. Oh, that's bad. Hang on.
Well, I should point out that it's very kind of you to come in and play and talk to us when you have a cold.
Yeah.
I don't know if people can hear that or not, but Harold has a cold and he still is in here.
I sang my butt off too at South Gate House Revival on Saturday, so in the weather and all that. So okay, got it. I think I was in the wrong key anyway. Hostile for attention, out beyond the fences, still burns like embers, has left me defenseless. One too many times, far too many times, eyes that see right through me. You always thought you knew me. Were the horse that threw me. One too many times, far too many times. If I could open my head and let you in, would you judge the shape I'm in? Could we lie and still be friends? Or would we start this thing over again? One too many times, far too many times. One too many times, far too many times. You're the only one that sees it. You every conjugal visit to this life like a prison, lacking voice of reason. One too many times, far too many times. If I could open my head and let you in, would you judge the shape I'm in? Could we smile and still be friends? Or would we start this thing over again? One too many times, far too many times. One too many times, far too many times.
That is brilliant.
Thanks, man.
I really like that song a lot. That is terrific.
I just was thinking about days past, you know, and I was like, man, that was a train wreck. That was a train wreck too. That was a train wreck over there. Like, how can I put that in a song? And I just felt like one too many times. Just build off of it. So, yeah.
Well, that works. And who cannot relate to that? Everybody can relate to that.
Right. I mean, you know, not everybody. Like, some people they get out of they meet someone in high school and they marry that person and they're together forever and happily ever after. But that's not everybody's story, you know. Like, some people, you meet someone and you're magnetic with them, and it's just like, you know, I love being around you and I love doing things with you and you're great, but you also drive me crazy, and like we, you know, make each other crazy, and so you know, there's definitely the other side of the coin to every story. So.
Yeah, if somebody can find that perfect other person or that kismet or that magic, that electricity, more power to them.
Absolutely.
I just think most of us don't get that, or for whatever reason, right, don't have that.
Yeah. If you do find that, you should buy a lottery ticket that same day.
I would.
Play the numbers, man, for sure.
If you're just joining us, this is your Tuesday afternoon alternative. I'm Dr. J. Here we are on WUDR, Dayton, Ohio, a rock in the Gem City, music in all directions. Support your local music scene. We're here with Harold Hensley, who has a brand new record coming out called Midnight Savings Time. It is terrific. From the fine folks at Magnaphone Records, produced by Patrick Himes, the Wizard. Really, absolutely love all the people associated with this. It's like when I read these liner notes, it's like, these are all my friends. All my friends got together and made a record. Yes. How come I wasn't invited? No, I'm kidding. That part's a joke.
I'm calling you for next week.
I will come. I will bring cameras. I make very good pancakes.
Ooh, I love pancakes.
It's sort of the joke that Mrs. Dr. J and I have. It's like, well, do we go out for breakfast? And then nah, we're just going to stay in and eat pancakes.
Yeah. I mean, you know, pancakes are amazing. And it's really hard to mess them up, too. You know what I mean?
Which is probably why I have any skill at all about pancakes.
Oh, I wasn't saying you're a horrible cook or anything. I was just saying, you know, like, as long as you're paying attention, which I burnt a pancake, but...
It's like, you walk out of the room and suddenly you're doing something else and you're like, oh yeah, I was doing something in there.
That either that happens or I try to make the Uncle Buck pancake at home, and that can get ugly really fast.
I'm not even sure he pulled it off, but okay. Here we are being very mean when we shouldn't be. But I gotta say, it's so nice to have you in studio. I'm a big fan of your music. I'm also curious, do you write? Do you sit down and write and put your songs together like in a single sitting, or are you videotaping or audio taping your ideas as you go?
You know, I wish it always happened like that. So sometimes I will just sit down with my guitar and because I've been trying to get more proficient with my instrument, and so I've been practicing quite a bit. Well, while doing that, I'll come up with something like, oh, I've never really messed around with that progression or whatever it might be. And sometimes I'll get a song out of it, like, or at least the foundation. But I have these one-liners in my phone too, like in the notes section, and it's just like I'll say something like, you know, like, why didn't someone quote me on that? You know, like I'll say like a line that I think is great, and a lot of times the whole song will be built off of that.
Oh, really?
And sometimes I won't have a guitar part or anything, or even a melody in mind. Like I'll just be writing words, kind of like poetry, I guess. You know, like just like you would write a poem or something. And sometimes it has a natural cadence that works, and sometimes I have to chop it up. Like the Arms' first full length, Blackberry Winter, man, like I dissected those lyrics so much. Like I don't even know how it makes sense, because if lines don't fit exactly how I think they should, like I'll rewrite it somehow, you know. And so to answer your question, sometimes like the song will just, like I'll be recording, like if I come up with a cool progression, I videotape it so I can see what I was playing.
Yeah.
Because I'm not that guy that can just remember all the chords. I'm just like, oh, what was I playing? You know, what key was that in? And I even tell myself now, I'm like, okay, it's in the key of A, you know, or like capo's on the 7th, you know, like whatever it might be. And then I go back to a lot of those videos and I'll find lines that I like, that I just like freestyled. And sometimes I'll add stuff to it, sometimes like I keep it. So, but it's a fun process. Like, I don't do this as much anymore, but I used to be an insomniac. And as soon as my brain would stop, and I would fall asleep, I would like wake up almost exactly 40 minutes later and like have something that I had to write down, you know, and it might be gibberish the next day, and a lot of times I didn't remember doing it, but I'm like, I need to keep this pad of paper by my bed, and I don't do that anymore, unfortunately, because I got some pretty good lines or thoughts out of that, but so that's kind of how I write songs, I guess.
Oh no, I think that's brilliant. It's so organic, right?
Yeah.
It's not forced. You know, you're not sitting there. Okay, here's the love song. Here's the love gone wrong song.
Right.
That it's just whatever you're feeling in that moment becomes the song.
Right. Yeah. Sometimes it's overwhelming. You know, when you're thinking about things and or you're just driving and a certain song comes on the radio that reminds you of a certain time. It's so easy to get inspired in moments like that and have to pull over.
I can
things down, you know. So.
I can only imagine that there's I have to write this down before I forget it.
Right.
That's got to be a little
it's mad.
Little intense, a little.
Because you know you keep saying it over and over and over, and then like. Yeah. This so happen you're out with like your girlfriend, or you know you're taking your mom to lunch and they're trying to talk to you, and it's like you don't want to be rude, but it's like, can you please just be quiet for 1 second? I got to remember this, you know. And you just keep saying it over and over and over, and sometimes you get it all, and sometimes you lose it. But,
I got to write this down before I lose it. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if you ever watched Chappelle's Show, or if you watched Chappelle's Show back
then.
But
I did.
The Home Stenographer.
Yeah.
Do you remember that episode?
Yeah.
I need one of those like, people just to like put on like a backpack so they can just type down everything.
Well, and then we'd have like 2 or 3 records coming out instead of what?
Do they make triple records? I don't know.
Ooh, there's an idea.
Try that, maybe. That'd be expensive to put out.
That might be a little prohibitively expensive.
I'll start my GoFundMe tomorrow. Like,
okay, yeah.
I have this idea for a triple record.
The Harold Hensley triple record. Yeah, I'd like it. Or the Harold Hensley triple threat, just to confuse people.
We could call it the triple decker.
I love it. Now, those of you listening, we got a copy. That is copyright Harold Hensley, Mr. Harold Hensley.
Oh, I always hope well, I guess it'd be backwards copyright.
Yeah, right. You're listening to your Tuesday afternoon alternative. I'm Dr. J. This is Harold Hensley. He has a brand new record coming out on September 28th, Midnight Savings Time. It is full of great songs. The next song I'm going to play on the record is called She. What do you want to say about that song?
Well, you were asking about my process with songwriting. So that song actually was written probably over the course of 5 or 6 or 7 nights. Like I just write. I wrote down the first line of my notebook.
Yeah.
My work notebook that I wasn't supposed to be writing songs in. And I would come back the next night and be like, oh, that'll go with it, and I'll just start singing those 2 lines. So it's just like about a very magnetic person that scared the tar out of
me. Levels still sound good to me.
Awesome. Yeah. I can't believe it. I was like, I was in the wrong key, and I did that.
Oh no! I saw you instantly.
You saved
like,
me, though, yeah.
I saw you instantly going like, okay, I got to correct this, and I'm like, well, people don't know that that you got a cold.
Right.
So
yeah.
I hope I didn't overstep my bounds.
No,
I just
great.
thought.
You saved it.
Well, I don't know about that.
This is fun.
Well, I'm glad you're willing to do this, especially considering you got a cold.
I mean, it's some better today. It's just like that rain. We were soaked getting back to the car the other night. Like we got soaked, and like the weather changing. It was a lot cooler. And,
like for me, it's like I can fight off a lot, and then I'll probably have like a night or two where I don't sleep very well.
Yeah.
I can fight off a lot, but if I don't have enough sleep on top of these things, I'm doomed.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Sleep is so important.
It's like, I'm one of those terrible people. I need like 8 hours. Like 7 isn't enough for me.
Yeah.
So like, when I'm not going out to shows or something on a Friday, Saturday, whatever night, it's like, I'm one of those guys. I'm in bed at 11.
Yeah.
So yes. The exciting life of the DJ here, people.
He's lying. He stays up all night.
While listening to music, of course. Okay, I feel the need to rehabilitate my reputation here. Everyone's like, "No, man, you're sleeping, and we all know it."
One of my favorite parts, I'm sure you've seen this movie, of Almost Famous.
Oh yeah, I love that movie.
Philip Seymour Hoffman's talking about. He's like, "Call me, man. I'm up nights." I say that to David Payne all the time. I'm like, "I'm so uncool. Just call me. I'm up nights."
That's right. You don't need a tissue or a napkin or anything.
Good. Everything's. It's not. I don't think it's all dry. It's just the pipes are rusty.
Oh, you sound good.
Thank you.
Well, I know quite a few musicians who will say that like that little bit of gravel to the voice can actually make me sound better. I'm like, really? I mean, there are times like it usually seems to happen like on a Tuesday where it's like, oh God, I'm about to cough.
Oh yeah.
This is not supposed to happen.
I love that you have cough buttons on there too.
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to cover it when I cough, but it's
no.
on the mic.
And quite frankly, you sound good.
Oh, thank you.
And honestly, I'd rather have a situation where we're having a conversation and it's real.
Yeah.
Because I've done enough where it's like when you do all that edit, it doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
Nice on the ending there, Harold.
Thank you.
That really pulls you in.
I didn't know how to end that song, and like I thought that chorus was such a strong part of the song that I was like, I'm gonna go out on that, like so. Yeah.
Well, there are times when the kitchen sink approach just gets in the way.
Yeah.
Sometimes less can be more. I know people are rolling their eyes right now, but especially in music, right? You can overcook the broth.
Absolutely, yeah. Some of my favorite music. I love really complex stuff as well, but some of my favorite music is just so stripped down. Even like sometimes the recording can be like lo-fi, and there's like things that you hear that's like, like what is that noise? Where's that coming from? But the song is great, and like, that's just, like you said, sometimes less is more.
It makes me think of a Paul Westerberg song that he recorded sitting in his kitchen, and I'm not sure who it was. I think it was his wife at the time came into the kitchen for a drink of water.
Oh wow!
And if you listen really closely, you actually can hear the water come on. I mean, it's not loud or anything. I mean, it's real faint.
Yeah.
Because he's just got like gosh, it's probably like a blue microphone or something, really low key, not high tech at all, just sitting next to him on the kitchen table. But he couldn't get the chord progression or something about the way he was playing his guitar. He couldn't duplicate in the studio, so he was like, I'm just going to use this.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And it's my favorite song on the record because of that, because it's so real.
Right. I mean, that's, I think, well, there's a lot of exceptions to this, but I think most people that write their own songs and perform them out live, like, they want to give you the closest to their live performance. Like, they want to make it believable, or it's like, why are they doing it otherwise, So, yeah, I've written things before, it's like, oh, I'll never be able to, duplicate that or whatever, and that stuff normally doesn't make it to the record or whatever, because I want to be able to, give them what they ordered.
Oh, absolutely. Harold Hensley has a brand new record here, Midnight Savings Time, has a show at Yellow Cab Tavern on the 28th. There are tons of great people playing with Harold and also just playing on their own. Definitely, we're going to give you links to that. $10. It's cheap, people. $10 gets you in music at 8 p.m. promptly.
Yes.
Harold said, get there early, folks.
Third
Plus, get there, see your friends, have a refreshing beverage.
Absolutely.
Say hello to the good folks at the Yellow Cab Tavern who are putting on some amazing shows here in town. Quite honestly, you could throw a rock and hit a great venue here in Dayton. Not that you should throw a rock.
Yes, don't do that.
Yeah, don't. But I'm super excited about this show. Can we expect any surprises or...
Well, Art, if I tell you, then it wouldn't be a surprise.
Oh, man, you got me.
Yeah.
Oh. So if there is a surprise, the only way to know is to go.
Yeah. The show, yeah. Doors actually open at 7, so and the music will start right at 8 o'clock. So, like Art said, get there.
Yeah, and always, it's a good idea to get there early, so that you can get the lay of the land, maybe buy a copy of the CD for you to take home. Just saying that's a good way to approach going to the show, people. Do you have any other shows coming up after the release?
I have a few things cooking, but I was playing in a big tour. I know we talked about this a little bit. I was playing a big tour out west, like through October and November. I kind of went a little bit later on my release than I wanted to. It was just like logistics.
Sure.
Didn't even think I was going to have the vinyl records in time, but Got a Groove came through for me, Cleveland. But so I don't have anything that I can tell you about now that's locked down.
But you'll let us know when it comes through so we can share with people.
Yeah.
But more importantly, there will be CDs and vinyl records.
Yes, sir.
Uh-oh.
Yes. Vinyl records, yep. We accept all major credit cards.
Yeah. And any means of legitimate payment, right? We're not going to talk about illegitimate payment,
right.
But any legally appropriate means of payment. Harold will hook you up with some terrific music. I've got to say, we've been playing Pose now for I think like a month now or something.
Yep.
Love it a lot. It's very different than the stuff that you have done in the past. And I think it's different than the other songs on the record.
It is.
Yes. So was Pose written later than the other songs, or was Pose written before?
It was actually written before. That was one of the only songs that I had going forward with at that job where I was writing on music. It wasn't finished. I was working it out and stuff like that. And really, all these songs took shape in the studio. There were a couple songs that were like kind of cut and dry, and we knew what was going to happen when we tried to record them. That song just it was upbeat and kind of bouncy, and the first track, Further Down the Road, like it kind of has that feel too, but it's still, like I said, like not totally different, but it sounds more of like an older R&B song, or I don't know. But yeah, so that might be the thing, and also the guitar part. Like, it's kind of like a rockabilly thing going on, and Patrick was just like, "Oh, what about this?" And it just fit right in there, the bounciness of it, and I loved it, you know. And I was like, we have to keep that. And then Hoflick's train beat sidestep thing. It was just, oh man, it was a fun song to record.
Well, the wizard casts his spell once again. Now, of course, we also have to give it up for Brian Hoflick.
Yes.
The man is a monster behind the kit.
Absolutely.
Just an amazing drummer.
I hate to tell this story, but I don't hate to. It's
okay, Brian.
Yeah.
This might be the time where you're thirsty. Go get a drink of water.
Yep. Go get something to drink. Actually, it's bad on my part because I'm horrible with a metronome, like a click track. It sounds mechanical, and I can and I'm sure it drove Patrick crazy. But on that tune, there were a couple tunes like that where I had to actually go out in the live room and play. Instead of being separated, I had to play along because I couldn't actually do the guitar part to anything but a real drum beat, which is so strange, But the very first track, Brian plays this train beat, I think, for 9 minutes long. It's 9 minutes. And I couldn't play my guitar part to the click track, so he played that totally blind, just nothing else. He played that by himself. And just at the end, he's like, when can I stop? When can I stop? It was about to fall off. And I'm
yeah.
You're good. I think we got it. I think we got plenty. And the song turned out to be maybe 4 minutes maybe long. But anyway, it was good cardio for him. And
there you go.
A few minutes longer because of that. So
he's working on his shoulder strength.
Absolutely.
There. Yeah. Endurance.
For sure.
Not that he needs to work on any of that. Holy cow.
He's a pretty man.
Yeah, he is just phenomenal. And it's funny, I think the joke that may not be mine, but I've said this to people, at this point, I truly believe that Brian Hoflick is pretty much in just about every band in Dayton.
I think so, yeah.
And
he he just doesn't play, he's a great drummer, obviously, but he plays the upright bass.
Yeah, plays stand-up bass, yeah.
He plays that thing like he was born with one in his hand, it just seems natural. And can just, man.
As somebody who wishes he had some musical talent, I just want to say it's not fair when people like you and Brian, among others here in town, line up and take all of that talent so that when I get to the front of the line, they're like, well, we've got, do you like teaching?
See,
that's all I got. No, I'm teasing.
See, I wish I could teach. People were like, "Oh, show me some chords," and I get so upset. I'm like, "I only know 2."
I find that hard to believe. I find that hard to believe, Harold.
I mean, I don't scream at them, but I've tried to teach my nieces and nephews growing up and stuff, and yes, it hurts. It does hurt, but you have to keep
push past that. Yeah.
It's like, why does it hurt my fingers? And it's like, well, they're metal strings, they're wires, stretched across a piece of wood. It's gonna hurt, But a little bit of that, and a little bit of not having the patience to teach, because it's a talent for sure. And
you are way too kind.
I'm just saying.
Can we get another song from you?
Absolutely. Is it okay if I play another new one?
Oh, I say you play whatever you like. It is a real easy requirement that we have here. As long as you're happy, we're happy.
All right. This one should be a little bit easier on my voice here. This song is actually called "Sad Song from Ohio."
Sad Song from Ohio.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah. It was kind of just a working title for a long time, and it's kind of stuck with me. So I'm gonna play that for you. It's kind of self-explanatory. So. Waiting for tomorrow, but it's just another day. Conjured up your sorrow, with the way that I sing. Where the sun don't shine, and it never will, on a man like me out in the world, and that's alright. Kill all your visions with the crystal pot of gold. Take 'em as they come, like the rain drops that fall on your head. When I was young, it came along to turn me away from these happy songs, so I stay great. Quiet as a mouse in this world I'm letting doused with gasoline. I'm dancing on the moon in some bizarre fantasy I may lose. Well, the sun don't shine in the afternoon, 'cause I'm still in bed contemplating doom. Ask me how I know. Waited for tomorrow, but it's just another day.
Oh, that's just lovely.
Thank you.
That is, again, I love that. Have you always sang, Harold?
Yeah, kinda, yeah. For as long as I can remember, I was always trying to entertain people. I guess I didn't really take it seriously until I was in this band one time. We were just learning to play our instruments, and I was playing drums. Started out as a drummer, actually. And this guy we had singing at the time, he just couldn't find a melody if it hit him in the face. Not to be rude.
Right, sure.
I'm just like, he was just our buddy that was free that day. It's like, come be our singer. We need a singer, And he was an outgoing dude, so we were like, oh, he could be a front man. And so I was trying to help him. I'm like, no, the melody's like, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and you sing it like this, and he got really mad, and he was like, well, why don't you be the singer? So I started Don Henley-ing that stuff.
Oh, right,
Yeah,
right.
it was close.
Yeah,
That stuff.
yeah. Nice.
So I was singing and playing drums there for a while. But yeah, like when I was a little kid, like I would pretend that I was singing a lot, and then I would go and sing in the shower, and anywhere that I wouldn't sing in front of people, but I've always liked to sing. Yeah.
You're listening to your Tuesday afternoon alternative here on WUDR, a rockin' the Gem City, music in all directions. Support your local music scene. I'm joined by Harold Hensley, who has a brand new record, Midnight Savings Time, that comes out on the 28th. You should make plans now to go to the Yellow Cab Tavern. Doors are at 7. Music starts promptly at 8 p.m. $10. It's cheap. $10 for a night of great music and entertainment. I think that is well worth your hard-earned money. And CDs and for me, more importantly, vinyl records will be available at the show as well. Will you have any other merch? I'm picturing, of the many T-shirts I have, I do not have a Harold Hensley T-shirt.
That's debatable.
I do. I just need to look at my. I'm kidding. Okay, look at.
Oh no!
You're saying it.
I mean, will we have T-shirts? Is debatable. I'm kind of really close on getting them, and I was kind of. Everyone's like, we think you should put the album cover on a shirt, and like,
totally would be great.
It's already. I love the picture and all of that, and it's already a little. Weird for me to have my beautiful face on that on that CD and record cover, but like I just can't imagine walking down the street or going to the record store and like looking over and someone that I don't know wearing my face. Like that would be, but it's still a possibility.
Well, I can understand that. Well,
that sounded scary. Somebody I don't know wearing my face. I meant on a T-shirt. That sounded like
no. This is not Hannibal Lecter time or something. Yeah. I think that people followed your logic, and,
I hope so.
And if they didn't, it's probably people that we would enjoy hanging out with.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yes, let's get coffee after this.
Yeah. I can totally see it because it is such an intense look, and when you think of most band T-shirts, right? It's usually like an image, some iconography or something, or some album artwork or something like that. It's not like this is a cover of Abbey Road or something.
Right.
Where I think the Beatles deserve a little bit of ego. I'll give them that. Or the Stones deserve a little bit of ego.
Absolutely.
But I can certainly see where you walking into places, seeing your handsome face on people's shirts might be a little. This feels odd.
Yeah, I mean. So my mom is the one that she was like, well, how much does it cost to, she's like, I want this on a T-shirt. I'm like, well, that's really expensive to do one shirt.
Yeah.
Super expensive, because I was a screen printer for several years. I still dabble. And she's like, well, why don't you just get your sister's one too and get so-and-so one. I'm like,
starting to add up
yeah,
now.
so that's more than a few of my faces out there. So at the end of the day, I love the photo. Charles did a great job, and
it totally works for the cover of a record.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe not necessarily the T-shirt.
We'll see. It might happen. It might still happen.
Okay.
There's time.
Okay.
We'll see
Well, regardless of what the image might or may not be,
right.
I'm down for a T-shirt.
Okay.
And I'm suggesting that other people should be thinking about that kind of merchandise as well. Just saying. But more importantly, get out your calendars now. Mark it in there, September 28th. I already did. Yellow Cab Tavern, doors are at 7, show at 8. It is a terrific new record. We're about to play Lazy Love. Can you hang out a little bit longer? A few more minutes? Is that? Yeah. I don't want to be presumptuous here, but what can you tell us about Lazy Love?
It was written to be a lullaby.
Oh, really?
Yes. And it was this really cool guitar part that I had. Super fun to play. And I'm like, it would get stuck in my head. So I'd practice it before work. I would go there and I would keep hearing it. So I just started writing these lyrics around that in my head, and it turned out to kind of put me to sleep. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, hope it doesn't put anyone if you're driving, pull over for a second. Lullaby.
Yeah, because it sounds like this could be sleep-inducing.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, forgive me for turning my back. The way that encode that this system is set up is that it stops the recording at an hour mark. And so I just had to start it back up again. Only I had to give it a new name, so I thought something clever like Harold 2.
Harold 2, yes.
So you're there's Harold Hensley and Harold 2.
Nice. It's my doppelganger.
Yeah, so if we ever do these shows again, I'll be doing something like, oh God, what numbers did I use previously? Because you can't title it the same thing. Oh. Because then the computer gets really confused.
Just remember Harold 3.
That's right. The Triple Decker. What a brilliant name. I love it, the Triple Decker.
Oh my gosh.
We got to do a poor man's copyright on that before somebody, I'm looking at you, Facebook people, stealing those ideas.
Can you imagine? Well, it's timestamp now.
That's true. We have video proof.
Yes. Can you imagine like the side of that vinyl record, like the spine? You can make it look like pancakes.
Oh,
like 3 pancakes on the side.
I'll cook some pancakes and take a lot of pictures. Maybe I'll take pictures. Tracy will take pictures. Hey, I was gonna say you. Charles can take pictures, and then you can choose the one you like the best.
This is too much fun.
It'd be like some kind of weird English like baking show. Like our pictures are turned away from you. And no, seriously, Tracy and I like. You know, because I watch a lot of weird stuff. Tracy, I have to give respect for. She watches normal TV. I watch really bizarre TV.
Have you been watching this English?
I do. I do this like great British baking show, and I'm like, I am totally enamored of this because the people are so kind to one another.
Kelly Fine from The Young Heirlooms has been telling me about that.
Oh, yeah.
She was like, you've got to watch that.
You do have to watch it.
I'm like, I mean, I love cooking shows. Is it like that? And she's like, she just...
Oh, no. It's like all the American cooking shows, people are like, it's like they're stabbing each other, right? They're so super competitive. It's like, let me kick over your table or something. Right. And whereas like the British shows, like they're helping each other. They feel bad for each other when someone doesn't do very well. Okay. Or they're applauding when people do well. I'm like, I want to live in that world.
Right. Me too. Everyone should.
The golden voice of Dayton, in my opinion, Mr. Harold Hensley here in studio. You just heard another beautiful song from his Midnight Savings Time, Lazy Love. So what I love about these songs is how organic they feel to me.
Yeah.
They don't feel contrived at all.
I mean, I think maybe by the time I had 6 songs, like I wasn't like writing these to put out a solo record.
Oh, you didn't think you were going to put this out?
No, I mean, it just, because I wrote a lot of songs during that time, and some of them like are going to be on the New Arms record, and some of them are going to be Biscuits and Gravy songs, and like, so they had a lot of outlets, but like, I had these songs that I really liked that came to me pretty organically, like you said, and it was like, I'd thought about doing a solo record like in the past. I'm like, I have all these songs that I can't use anywhere else. Like, maybe I should just record them and see how, see what happens. And I had a conversation with Patrick, like, I'm really interested in doing a solo record, and he was like, man, I think that would be super fun, So that's just kind of how, like, that's why a lot of them sound different. They came from different spots, but I can kind of find a common thread between all of them and put them on a record, I think, so.
Well, I think they work really well. They work really well together, too. So you're listening to your Tuesday afternoon alternative on WUDR, Dayton, Ohio, student-run radio from the University of Dayton. We have Mr. Harold Hensley here in the studio. We are Facebook live streaming this for those of you who prefer that approach. You have to connect to me. I am Dr. J, also known as Art Gypsum. I've been doing this show for almost 14 years. Yikes. Only because it makes me feel old. I love this show and I love all you listeners. But wow, 14 years feels like a long time to be doing almost anything.
It's like a middle school child,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the show is now a precocious teenager.
Yes, yes, into punk rock and yeah.
Which I'd be totally okay. So if the show comes home wearing the Ramones t-shirt, I'd be like, I love you, and be like, get away from me, man.
Then the show would start wearing a Garth Brooks shirt because it's like cool to.
Yeah, that's right. I gotta hold it inside. Yeah. That's important. That's
Absolutely.
Really important.
Yeah.
So I haven't asked you about Biscuits and Gravy. Is it okay if we talk about that a little bit? Because well, first of all, you guys are both brilliant vocalists in my opinion, but you sound just gorgeous together.
Thank you so much.
How did Biscuits and Gravy come about?
Well, we've known each other since we were in high school. Like, we didn't go to the same high school or anything like that. We had a mutual friend because I went to CTC, and he was just like, you know what, you need to meet Cassie, and like, come to find out, she lived like literally right down the street from me. But she went to Carlisle, and I went to Germantown, so we hadn't met through school. And we just started talking on the phone, and she was like, I play guitar, and I'm like, I play guitar. Wow, we should play the guitar together. And so it just kind of happened like that. Like, she would come hang out on my front porch, and we would just like back then, you know, play covers of old folk songs, and just like we were learning, you know, I was in a band at the time that I was like the main songwriter for, and the songs were horrible, so I was just trying to get better at fleshing songs out. So flash forward, I'm not going to say how many years ago that was, but
it was a little years ago.
Yeah, absolutely. But you know, fast forward, we've, you know, I love her band, and